Welcome, Umoja 2 TV. We're back in the building, and today we have our guest, the high school coach, former high school coach of the Shenendehowa Plainsmen, Coach Tony Dzikas. We wanted to bring him on and talk about his plans. And if you haven't noticed already or known already, that he will be moving on from the sidelines over there for the Plainsmen. So we want to touch base with him about his long journey there and what he missed and some of his players and he might have coached and what he's looking forward to doing next. We want to get into all those good things. Now you decided to leave after the season this year. Talk to us. What went into that decision? It seemed abruptly. You're a young guy, still energetic. Talk to me why you decided to move on.
Yeah, you know what? It's something I had thought about years, and obviously Devin was playing for me. I coached this group in sixth grade as well because my son was on the team, and both of my sixth grade as well. And I just knew that next year when Devin's playing in Boston, that I'd be in the Shen gym thinking about, well, Devin's playing tonight, I should be watching him play. And I think that's unfair for the kids who'd be playing at Shen. If you're not gonna do something with 100% of your heart, you don't do it. And coaching those jobs, one of those passions that you have to be 100% in. One of my favorite quotes is from Pat Riley, and you probably heard it. When it comes to, there's only two options: you're either in or you're out. There's no such thing as life in between. And I would never even thinking about coaching at Shen without being 1,000% into what I was doing. And and I've had a great run. I've been blessed. I think of the players I've had. I think of what we've 16 years. And I really feel blessed just being able to go out on my terms and go out with such a great, my son included. And even today to open up the Times Union and see my son's name next to mine is just something that, I don't really spend a ton of time or thinking about accolades. But what was special today was opening it up, and I really appreciate James Allen and that newspaper, honoring me in my final year. And that's certainly one of the articles I'll keep for a long time.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go pick that up. You leave a great legacy behind. I remember there's a little drought there, a little dip there for Shen for a hot second there from '96 to 2015. They wasn't, you got there, I think, to the final four there, the championship game there, maybe 2010 as well. But you started, 2015 came around, you just started just like running table. I think you got like four Section 2 titles in 6 years there, you know what I mean? And then you got a state title in 2015. So talk to me about the next guy who's going to replace you. What is it going to take for that guy to carry on his legacy? And who would you like to see? What type of person would you like to see in that position taking over for you?
Well, like I alluded to earlier, you need somebody who's going to make it. And it was my life. My whole, you hear people talk about balance, you have to have balance and, you have to do this. I wasn't a person who could do it like that. I didn't balance anything. I was the Shen basketball coach. I did that September, October, November, season would start, season would end, hopefully late March or April. We'd take 2 weeks off. We get into spring AAU, that, and I'd be coaching in those AAU seasons. After the spring AAU season, we take 2 weeks off. Now we're back in the gym in July with D'Agostino at 6 a.m., run my camps, and then the PM for open gyms or summer leagues. We would do that, have overnight camp up at Quebec, Brant Lake, take 2 weeks off. School would start. We'd start fall after Halloween. We'd take 2 weeks off after fall AU, and then we're right back into the season. And it's just rinse, lather, repeat over and over and over for 16 seasons. If you want to do it right, if you want to make sure you want to be relevant, you want to give yourself a chance every single year. you have to put the time in. And you can't complain about losses in December, January, February, March if you're not putting the time, you know, July, August, September, October. I mean, those are the months that, you know, it's when you're getting up at 5:30 in the morning to get to the gym for a little before 6 because Dags is going to start at 6 a.m. Weight training in, you got to do your summer. Those are the times. Those games, those championships, those, you know, being relevant in the basketball landscape for several years, that's done in the off season. And there's a price to pay for that. And there's, you know, vacations where you left early because you want to go to Lemoyne. So you're leaving, you know, situations where like you have family time, but you know, you have to put in the time in the off season. It's a the culture of sacrifice, the culture of hard work, the culture of, you know, knowing that you're 100% committed to what you're doing. And, you know, after 16 years, I think I just felt like, I think I was just, you know, to put it in simplest terms, I think it was just time. It was time for somebody else. And what I hope, and I know will happen, because at Shenendehowa, every coach is like that. I don't care if it's volleyball, I don't care if it's baseball, softball, wrestling, football, sport. Sometimes my biggest competitors were the other coaches at Shenendehowa, because everybody wanted the gym, everybody wanted the athletes, everybody wanted to put in the work, educate it. And, you know, I know it's a big school and we hear that sometimes that, you know, oh, Shen's so big, that's why they went. No, if you don't put in the work, I mean, we're always going to have really good kids, because if you're not a good kid who's not a good student, you're not going to listen to coaching, you're not going to work hard. Yes, we got somebody who's right behind you. And that's why I'm so fortunate to have my kids play. And I think it's been one of the reasons why Devin's been successful, because you have to push yourself, because if you don't do it, somebody else will.
Tell me real quickly, you might have touched on it. What was the toughest part at coaching at Shen at a school like that?
It's wonderful that it takes me a second to think about it, because, you know, I'll be honest with you, it's been, I've been blessed, you know. I just no, you know, like, I think any tough part about coaching at Shen over the last 16 years is just stuff I put on. You know, parents have been really good. I mean, it's never going to be perfect. Listen, I've never had an expectation that a parent should side with me over their kid, or if I cut your son from the team. I never have that expectation. I say this to younger coaches: don't have an expectation that you know, a parent's going to take, if a father or mother is not going to be the biggest fan of their own kid, who's going to be the biggest fan of that kid? So, you know, I've always been with parents. My athletic director has been very supportive. You know, I'm not an easy person. You know, I've said this to really appreciate everything you've done for me. There are times he's patted me on the back, and he's also kicked me in the rump a couple times and said, "Hey, you have to recalibrate." We get passionate about what we do, and sometimes you get after kids. Sometimes your expectations may be a little higher than they may be for, 15, 16, 17, sometimes 18-year-old kids, and it's high school basketball. So he's been great. I've been blessed. My two sons, coaching Jake was great. And Jake Dzikas is now 21, believe it or not. I know you guys covered a couple of his games. He's 21 now. Wow. It's amazing. I know. I'm older. I'm saying the same age, fellas. I don't know how that's happening. But he's a great kid. That was we talk about this all the time, and I'll be open and honest about it. And I think him was really difficult. I mean, we just had different personalities. He would like to set me off a little bit, and he knew just what buttons to press to do that. But coaching challenge, but we get along so great that you can't take anything back. I was a little tougher on him. I learned some lessons from a father standpoint, coaching Jake. Dzikas is one of the kindest, best-hearted young men I know, and I'm proud to say that. He must get that from his mother, because I don't know if men say that about me, fellas. Devin was obviously a real pleasure to coach, and he could be tough and aggressive on the court, and coach my own sons has even turned in retrospect a really great thing, and I think I learned a lot of lessons, and the toughest part is very timely. You have to commit. There are sacrifices that need to be made. And that's probably the only thing that I would say, guys, that you guys know this, you guys coach. If you're going to coach, I remember Bill Scanlon, Hall of Fame coach at Union. I talked to him after my first year, and he's, one thing coaching's going to do, Tony, it's going to thicken your skin. It's going to, things aren't going to bother you as much after you do this for a number of years. And I'll be honest with you, there comes where it just rolls off your back, and part of you after a while you start to, and that's maybe the wrong word to use, enjoy, but when you're being criticized that you're actually doing something. There's only the only people who don't get criticized in this world are people being active and doing stuff and putting themselves out there and putting themselves in front of people so people can judge them. And that's what we do as coaches. You get out there Tuesday, Fridays, you get out there in a state championship game. Every single time you get out there, you walk that sideline and people are judging the moves you're making. Why haven't you taken this guy out? Why are you still playing this guy? To get a thicker skin. And after a while, you even start to, and I remember speaking at an administrator's conference. They had a bunch of students there. And one thing I talked about was, you better start to be a CEO of a company. If you want to be a coach, if you want to be a teacher, if you want to do anything where you have a position of leadership, you will be judged. And as long as you can say, I did the best job I could, acknowledge your mistakes and learn from them, then, you have to accept it, and you'll learn to live.
Yeah, that's the yin yang. That's kind of the yin and yang. You got to take so-called triumph and tragedy all together at once, because it's part of your growth, and it's all, can't have one without the other, obviously. Totally. What I wanted to say to you is, if two-part question, if this year was suspended with COVID, you had return, or was it an all-out with going out with your son? And is it that things you learned over time, commitment, and maybe coaching Jake and seeing that, and now with Devin, maybe want to spend more time? Tell me how all those things played a role. And like I said, my first part was if it was a COVID suspended back. Right,
I got you. Both of them. I would say, no, my mind was already made up. I knew that this would be my last year. I'll be honest with you, I probably that as soon as Devin was done, as soon as this group was done, that this would be my last year. So, and to go out again, I use the word blessed a lot, because that's just the way I felt 2 weeks ago, I'll be honest with you, I really didn't want to do a whole lot of media stuff. It was just such an emotion. Chris Coleman, the way he handled it, I wrote up my final statement, announcing that I was going to be stepping down. People that reached out was just incredible. I like the word, I don't get overwhelmed too often. I felt totally overwhelmed. Former players, parents, coaches who've been in our program over the years, players that I coached against, which was I thought it was really thought to reach out, and it just goes on, and I was just totally overwhelmed. And I just thought to myself, man, how many coaches get to go out like that? We got blessed with 15 games. We ran, and again, the kids did a great job. We ran through the league. We got to have a tournament, which championship, but I was telling somebody today, because they kind of go, oh, it would have been nice if we had a sectional championship. You know, the way I look at it as though that Suburban Council tournament was probably tougher than a sectional tournament, because I think Troy is a very good team. Troy is a team that I think we had 2 single-digit victories where we won by less than 10 points, and they matched up against us. They were good, and if it were sectionals, we wouldn't even have had to play them because they're an A school. So really, having a Suburban Council tournament was more challenging for us because Troy was in it, and we played them, obviously, as you guys know, in the championship game. So, you know, it was, you know, it was a great, I guess, you know, it's a great way to go out. And like I said, my son, you know, did a great job during the whole COVID. I couldn't be more proud of somebody. I really, Devin Dzikas is probably top favorite players. And I'm not saying that from a father standpoint. I'm saying that from our assistant coaches talking about it, people close to the program. He was just a great coach who did not care if he scored 25 points or 7 points. If you wanted to take him out of the game, which some teams did, you know, where they're going to make sure that he doesn't get any easy shots, he will pass wide open for a 3 and not care if he scored at all that game, as long as Shen won. So from a coaching standpoint, that was awesome. Coaching him, his teammates were great kids. You guys saw nobody cared where the shot came from as long as we got a good shot. So, you know, as far as, you know, this year went, it was just terrific.
Most coaches will tell you winning drives you, but ultimately it's the relationship that are developed with the players. What is the one thing you wanted each and every player that came through? Now, I did see a quote where you said you expect coaches to see something in kids they can't see for themselves. What are your thoughts on that, Coach?
Yes, you know, it's funny, like we always talked about, you know, our mantra from the start was not work. So if you were going to be part of our program, one, you're going to work hard. Like you don't, that month of July, I still believe this, that month of July makes our program. I started that the very first year I took over, you know, in July was going to be that month where you are giving up a lot of stuff. Like, I'm not joking. And Steve, that is, you know, the kids came in, he would come in at 6. So he would come in at 6. We do our workout for like an hour and a half. The Quebec one would start at 8. The guys would work that. That would go half days, 12 until 12 p.m. Full days would go till 3. 4 days a week, gym again, like at night. So they're basically doing workouts with dags. Then they're coming back in for open gyms or summer leagues, at least another 3-4 nights a week. That's your whole July. If you're willing to get a group of kids who are willing to give up all of that, give up, you know, their entire July to your program, you're going to be successful. And you're not always going to win a championship. That's not going to happen. People are like, you can work as hard as you want. It doesn't mean you're going to win championship every year, but you're going to get a group of kids who are never going to quit on you, who are going to be responsible kids, who are going to kids who totally buy into what you're doing. And, you know, that's the culture, was that this was extremely important to you, and you were going to put playing for Shen basketball first, and you were going to make that commitment. And that's something that we believe will carry on in the workforce, college, you know, just kind of the young man you're going to become. And that's the one thing I'm super proud of, is the quality I have, that I still have relationships with, and they've just done a lot of special things. As far as, you know, seeing things in kids, I think as a coach, one of the jobs that we have, and it's really important, is what are you good at? So I gave you know, one of the elementary, the middle talked about giving you know, they do a morning video, and he talked about words of wisdom. And the words of wisdom I had for those middle school kids was, double down on the things that you're, young people nowadays, they have so much stuff. I see the schoolwork. I'm a fifth grade teacher. I see all these things that we expect kids to be good at. Man, you're not good at everything. You're just not going to be good at everything. And if you harp on the things that really you don't have a talent for, you're going to be depressed. You're going to have anxiety, miserable. I think the job you need to find, not only, in basketball, this is a basketball skill, but also a life skill. Find the thing that you're talented at and work your ass off at it. Find a thing you're talented at and say, you know what, I'm pretty good at this. I'm going to work harder than everyone around me because I think I have a talent for it and I have a passion for it. It's as hard as everyone around me. And there's no way anybody can convince me that if you do that you won't end up successful and in some way, money, a living doing that. It just will happen. So from a basketball standpoint, we always preach as a coaching staff. I did get in trouble a little bit for saying this, although Kevin reiterated it in the NBA. It was actually, I think, on ESPN or NBA. We always say, don't show your third nipple. And what I mean by that is this a little bit here. But what I mean by this is don't do the things that you're not good at. So if you can rebound the heck out of the ball, be the best rebounder you can be. If you're a great ball handler, a great pass, can't shoot though, hide it. Don't do it. We see so many people doing stuff that they can't do. So one thing I would say about our program and I'm proud of is that I don't think you really ever saw a kid or a player doing something and you watch it over and over and over again. And why is that kid still shooting? He's just missed 8 in a row. Like, I'd like to think that in our program, we taught kids that if you're not good at something, don't do it. And another one of my favorite quotes that I use in the locker room is one bad shot is one bad shot. 2 bad shots, okay, is 1 bad player. 3 bad shots is 1. And I would always tell the guys, I'm not interested in being a bad coach. So if you take a bad shot, okay, I don't want you looking over your shoulder all the time. Okay, there's your bad shot. 2 bad shots, bad player right now. And you're probably coming out of the game. 3 could be because when you get to the 3rd bad shot, guess who's bad now? Your coach is. I have no interest in being a bad coach. It's all about defining your roles and making sure kids understand them and them knowing your expectation.
I'm with Coach Dzikas, the former coach of the Shenendehowa Plainsmen. Coach Dzikas, tell me, who is your best player ever at Shen?
Boy, I would have to say this one kid I had, redheaded kid. What's his name again?
I seem to forget too, right? Yeah.
Kevin Hurst. What's his name again? He did okay. Obviously Kevin Hurst is the most talented player, and I was talking to some. Talent is something you don't have to work for. You're blessed with it, and Kevin is the most talented player. But with Kevin, he was also a hard worker, and he's a great person. And that's why he's succeeding the way he's succeeding now. And that's why, he did a great job last Curry. He's just, Kevin was the type of kid that young man back in high school who, he was a state championship too. A very good baseball player, could have been a college baseball player as well. He's the type of kid that could go play a baseball season, not pick up a ball, and come back in and still be called talent. That's just, you have that. And now what you're seeing with Kev is you saw it in college. He really started to develop because now he's 100% basketball. And yeah, Kevin is just the smartest player I ever coached, on top of being the most talented. And really, Kevin Hurst, he's our logo, deservingly so. He's just, he's everything that you probably want a high school athlete from a classroom standpoint, from a young man character standpoint, and obviously from a basketball talent standpoint. So
I know spew some great accolades regarding Kevin Herter and coaching him and what have you. Now, I just wanted to quote one of the statements that he stated about tutelage and how does that make you feel? He says, he is one of the most influential coaches I ever had. So talk to me about that statement about a guy now, you know, garnering up accolades in the NBA and making his stay and all of those type of things. How do you feel about that comment?
you know, I obviously it means I've got so much respect for Kevin that you know, it means the world, and the quotes that he had in the Times Union. Like I said, I'm really truthful when I say, like, I don't grab newspaper. Like when you're in the middle of it, when you're in the coaching, you just don't want to read the good or the bad. To be honest, you believe one, you got to believe the other. If you read all the good stuff, you got to believe and you think it's true, then you have to read the bad stuff, and you got to believe there's a little truth to that too. So you just put your head down and keep going. And having now stepped down, you kind of do take a step back. And somebody said, hey, you should read the article in the Times Union. And I threw a text out to Kev, say, hey, thank you so much. And, you know, the one thing with Kevin, and it was in the Times Union when maybe that's where you read the comments. He talked, I pulled him aside in the locker room just when he was like a freshman. And I said, you know what, you are going to be one of the most talented players I've ever coached. I'm going to be on you every day. I'm not going to shortchange you. I'm not going to coach you and be in awe of you. If you are playing at a 8, I'm going to push you to be a 9. If you're playing at a 9, I'm going to push you to be a 9.5. I'm going to push you to be a 10. So I'm not going to sit here and, you know, when you play great, I'll tell you play great, but don't come in the next day to practice thinking that's going to be staying in my mind. Every day is a new day. So I always wanted to push Kevin. I didn't want to disappoint him. I didn't want him not prepared for maybe another coach he was going to have down the line and high expectations. So, you know, it means the world to me that Kevin appreciated that. And I'm sure there were times he went home and he didn't appreciate it when he was younger. But if me coaching him and he appreciates the fact that I never let him slide and I tried to push him every day, then that obviously means the world. And it means the world to me, not because Kevin's a talented player who plays in the NBA. It means the world to me that, you know, he's a young man, a man is a great person with a high character. And if he has a positive outlook on me, then that makes me feel great. And I got to tell you, I felt great about 3 weeks ago when he came to one of our games. Now we went out to the car and he came in and he had a beautifully matted Hawks jersey in a frame that he actually had worn in a game, and he had it for me, and that meant so much to me. And you know, just kind of speaks volumes to what kind of person he is, and the fact that he took the time, that made me feel, you know, I was on cloud 9. It's hanging up in my classroom now. My class love it. They love seeing it. It's got his signature on there, and you know, I can't say enough about Kevin.
Yeah, we appreciate your time too, Coach. Man, you always gave us a lot of love, man. You gave us your time. You shouted us out a few times, man. We really did appreciate that. My last question on before I turn to coach is, you left the new coach, whoever that's going to be, or woman, whoever, you don't know. You left a pretty good squad, man. Tell me about this Mason Courtney guy, man. This junior guy, man. I saw some good things out of him, man. Talk to me about the future. I don't know if Spiak or Spack, I can't pronounce his name. Is he a junior or not? That kid got some stuff with him too. And I already know the other guys that are leaving now. But talk to me about the team that's coming back next year.
You know, I think that, you know, the Mason Courtney obviously is a second team, also second team in the Times Union all area, second team in the Schenectady Gazette all area. So yeah, you know, he's going to be a big player in the area next year. Super athletic, got great hops, good skill, great kid, buys into what you're doing. You know, Seaberger was at least at least 4 or 5 games this year for us. So the Seaburger kid, is going to be a nice little point guard next year. So yeah, there's some younger guys working very hard. Andrew Mess, was a talented kid on the JV, so I know he's in the gym all the time. So I'm certain like whoever they end up getting will be Chris Coleman well enough. Chris Coleman's not going to, if you're going to coach at Shen, Chris Coleman's going to hire somebody who's going to be passionate about it, and they're going to put the work in, and they're not going to cut any corners, demand high energy, high performing coach. And, that's just what he demands out of his coaching staff.
Would there be a timetable when they're going to get a new guy in or not?
It's a great question, Coach Dancy. You know what? You know the best part about that question? I have no idea. And guess what? You
don't care.
That's radar. I'm going, hey, Coach, I tell you, I'm going to Miami tomorrow. That's what I'm worried about right now. I got to get my flight to Miami, brother. That's what I'm worried. I'm not when they hire a coach. I'll by 2:00 tomorrow afternoon, brother.
I hear you. Who was the toughest coach you had to go against in your career? I believe you coached at Waterford first, right? I think you coached somewhere else first, right? So you can include that if you want to.
Yeah, well, at one point when I first started, so I was talking to James Allen about this because James Allen was, he used to cover my games a little bit. And let me tell you something, we got our butts kicked. So I was the youngest too at that point. And Waterford had enrollment at that point, I think 35, 40 kids. So we're a D school. For some reason, the enrollment went down pretty quick. And I started off, I was student teaching. I started as a freshman coach. The next year I was JV coach. The year after I was varsity. People just, for one reason or another, they just moved on or something happened with the union. So teachers couldn't coach in the school one year. So long story short, I ended up being the varsity coach at a very young age. And I was kidding around. James, remember how often I get beat? I mean, we had Waterford with George Mardigan. They won the double C's. We had, I want to say, George Judas. I think he maybe still was at Mechanical. I'm not positive though. They won the C sectionals. We had Albany Academy, who I think went to the state B. We had Averill Park, who actually beat Shen. They were in the Colonial Council at that point, actually beat Shen in the quarterfinals the year I was coaching there. So that was 8 of my games out of the 20. So I was kidding around with James, said, yeah, I lost so many games that went for Jim, and I got on the Northway. It said Interstate 87, Waterford 50. So it was, we got beat a lot. But I got to tell you, I got to reach out from some of the kids who played for me back then. And again, they're maybe 2-3 years younger than me. And they've reached out when they were very complimentary. They're proud of your success. One kid, he's probably 47 now. One of my former players, when I first started coaching, said something. We're really proud. I love seeing you on the news. I love seeing the success you've had, from coaching your first misfits, you call them. And so I replied and I said, just misfitted in the wrong league. If you played against Class D schools, you would be probably 90% of them, because we would end up going to the sectionals, guys, and we were like the 16th seed. We have to travel all the way to Argyle, and we lose by like 8 points to Coach Sherwin, and they were the number 1 seed. But we get the 16th seed because we were getting our butts beat schools that were much bigger and really talented, and they had Hall of Fame coaches. So when you talk about the toughest coaches, I've been blessed to coach against the best, including at my beginning when, Coach Judas, Coach Osinski, Hall of Famer, right? Coach Mardigan, Waterford, Hall of Famer. I've coached against Coach Domel, Hall of Famer, going in this year. Actually, I'm fortunate enough to be getting inducted into that Hall of Fame with Coach Hurley this year.
Oh, congratulations, Coach.
So
congratulations.
Thank you. So there's been a lot of coaches I've been able to go coach against. To name the best or the toughest, there's so many great coaches. I can't even begin to think about who would be the toughest, but I've been fortunate to coach against the best, and that always brings out the best in you.
Now, Coach, you're fond of working with the kids and had a great run. Is there at least a portion of something like seeing the generation changing, how the youth do things a little different over? I know you said you had a good alliance, great parents, great community, but is there, and you stated it takes a lot of energy to commit to this type of work / fun. Is it led to you feeling like, you know what, it's been a ride, but the generation is changing, dealing with different things of this generation and this climate? Does that have anything of making that decision?
I got to tell you, no. You guys saw us play this year, and you look at our team this year, and you're looking at it. When you say, like, I guess the word I would use for our team is throwback. I mean, you look at our team this year, like, they're throwbacks. I mean, you can coach these kids up. You can coach them hard. And, they were wonderful. So no, none of that played into that. You know what it was? It wasn't the kids changing. Maybe it was me changing. Just saying, you know what? I don't want to spend all of my July in the gym. I can't be there 100% when I know Devin's going to be playing for Suffolk University in Boston. Like, on me than the kids. It had nothing. Like I said, for a coach Vigo, I'm not, like, I don't even understand coaches coaching for 1 second more than they feeling what you just expressed. When they start saying, oh, these kids are different. These kids are, yeah, we're all different. We all change, like, you're a different person you were, parenting is different. I parent different now than I did 5 years. I parent different for Devin, and I coach Devin different than Jake. So he's changing. So no, I mean, I just really, I just thought it was time. Like, I just think that it was time to you get one, and maybe I just want to expand that obituary. Maybe it's going to say a couple other things. Maybe I end up coaching, down the road. So at a get the opportunity, maybe do something at the college level, or I already have some things going on that I'm going to do personally with opening up a small fit. Some of the trainers who were Shen grads, who one played for me and another one I've known for a while, and just kind of do something like that. Just do something different, and once you're a hardworking, passionate person, that doesn't change. You just change how you're channeling it. I'm a person who gets up at 4:30 every morning. I love getting up. I'm sick like that. I legit love being up at 4:30 in the morning, and I can't wait. And I don't wake up, and I don't wake up and go, oh, I can't believe I'm up and there's sleep. I wake up and I look forward. Sometimes, guys, and I'm just like, oh, I can't believe it's too early at this point, but I'm keeping myself in bed because I don't want to get up, like, ready to get going for the day, man. I think you're either wired like that or you're not. So I'm excited for what the next chapter is, and to make it. And I think some good things will happen.
Yeah, you got that mindset that you do more than most people do by 7 a.m. You do more than most people do all day. Every mindset.
And I love that stuff, and it is. I mean, anybody who says they don't have time to do something just doesn't want to do it. It's funny. I was talking, you guys know Coach Jim Matei pretty well, famed Scotia coach. I was talking to him today about that, and he's got kind of a similar mindset, like, where we both get up early. And so we talked today at, like, God, I want to say it's like 12:30 in the afternoon. We're having lunch today, and I was like, yeah, today was good. I did this, I did that, I did this, I did that. And he was like, oh, I did this. And it wasn't even like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I think, if you're wired like that, you're wired like that, and you just got to channel that. You got to channel that energy. You got to channel that, and that's what I love about seeing with kids. Young men, they find a little trouble. They when you see when you see successful people as adults, sometimes those are the kids that maybe got in some trouble as high schoolers. And I've certainly felt, there was just a lot of stuff I like to do. I was always restless. I was always, pretty active. And if I didn't channel that correctly, it went in a negative positive one. So, you know, I just love being wired like that. And I think we're all fortunate to be here. And even during the COVID times, you know, you know, very like you can find stuff to do. I mean, I don't even own a boat. I made Devin get online. We both got our boating license. So I don't know what else you gonna do in your house. So figure it out. Figure out what you want to do. Be active, be productive, and be better tomorrow than you were today.
Awesome. Yeah, we're here with 2016 Basketball Coach Association of New York Class AA, 2015 New York State Public High School Athletic Coach of the Year with a win-loss record of 2-20 and only 37 losses, and the New York State Championship.
Coach of the Dzikas. Now, we talked to you in the preseason not too long ago, one of these seasons, maybe last year or the year before, and you said that once you step away, man, you might want to, you know, coach, you know, Division II or Division III somewhere. You might want to just do something, maybe Division I, to be somebody's assistant. So what's next for you right now? What can be a possible next step for you? I know you're gonna see Devin play a lot, but you know, 4 years go by quick. So what's gonna be next? Are you still gonna be holding that whistle around your neck? You can still be doing the Quebec camp. I mean, what is some things you're gonna keep you? Are you still gonna be involved with basketball at any?
Yeah, I actually part owner with Greg and Donnie Juron for the camp, so I'll still be active in doing that. Like I said, I'm opening up a small fitness center right in Clifton Park. I'd like to work with athletes in that manner, making them, you know, quicker, stronger, faster. I have a passion for that. I love being in the gym. I like working out myself. Like I said, in the morning, I'm usually in the gym by just around a little before 5, get my workout in before I go to school to teach 5th grade. So, you know, I'll be doing that. And then, like I say, with the teaching, running that little company, running that little business, the camps, and then watching Devin play. I'm gonna let that roll for about a year or two, and then reevaluate, see how I feel. You know, people ask me all the time about college coaching, and it is something that I do have an interest in. You know, and I also think there's something to be learned. I think, you know, I read in a coaching magazine before that sometimes the best move a coach can make sometimes is step back for a year. Step back, stay away from it. You guys know that sometimes when you can sit back and you can just watch what other people are doing practices, you know, continue to develop yourself as a person and a coach, and learn about coaching the game and learn the game. You know, and you know, a coach I have a ton of respect for, and I know nothing about the sport. I don't even get how they like get on the ice. And you know, hockey, Juan Dela Rocha, a highly successful hockey coach, took a year off. He just needed a year off to kind of just you know, recharge. You know, and again, we never really had a deep talk about it, but I know it can be valuable. And like I said, to go out the way I went out, I mean, I love to have for 16 years. And, you know, if I have the ability to coach at the college level and that opportunity comes up, I do think that'd be a challenge I would kind of certainly really take into consideration. But also I have a ton of respect for college coaches and what they do. And, you know, I'm not one who sits there and thinks I'm something more. I really am. I mean, I've had a good run at Shen as a high school basketball coach. How does that translate to college? I don't know. But if I decide to do that, the only thing I would ever promise is that once I say, yes, I'm going to do it, is 100% in and 100% committed. And you're going to get somebody who I can say with really good confidence that, you know, maybe outsmarted a couple times, outworked, just about never.
Well, I do know this, Coach. Coach Fuller always talks about this too. You don't want to replace the guy. You want to replace the guy who was the guy. You don't. How you say it, Coach Fuller? How do you say it? I forget the little saying you always say. You don't want to follow the guy that got it done. But go ahead, Coach. You
don't want to be the guy that replaced the guy. You want to be the guy that replaced the guy that replaced the guy.
Yes, I get that. I get that. It's funny. Again, this is just, sometimes you just have a good run. You know, you have that good run, and sometimes things cycles. I do think like whoever does get the job, I don't think, somebody should expect over, a certain amount of period that they are going to 200, and I don't even know what those numbers were again. But maybe we had a great run with some great players. We had some winning streaks that were Kevin's career here. I think we had a winning streak of like 50 something in a row in the league. 2010, I think we started to get a little run going with Matt, Danny Lee, Josh Koopman, and a slew of other guys who were talented, and they won like 40 something in a row. Devin got to end on like a 30-game winning streak. Maybe we just caught a lot of good players, and to put that pressure on a new coach is just totally unfair. Everything. Hey, Steve Kerr's the same coach he was, 3-4 years ago, isn't he? And he's not having the same success. So, that doesn't mean he's not a good coach. He's still a great coach, and I'm sure he's. But all that coach should worry about is working really hard and being blessed that they're coaching at Shannon. That's the only thing that the school should ever ask. I love winning, and we were going to do everything we could to win, but I really never gave it, a ton of weight. I mean, every game was a new game. Every time we played was a new game, and I didn't worry about the previous game, whether it was a win or a loss. And you just try to prepare in every season, have your kids ready. And, I think let me tell you something, high school coaches, and hopefully this doesn't come out wrong, high school coaches are the biggest bang for the buck in public education. I mean, the absolute biggest bang for the buck. When you think of all the hats you have to wear, college coaches, having kids in the gym. I mean, parents of your kid, you know how much money people pay to be able to drop their kid off at the Y for 3 hours? Well, college coach or high school coaches do that all the time, all the time. And that's not even like the real season, the one that we actually get our paycheck for, which is November through March. What high school coach, like my colleagues who coach high school, I mean, I got nothing but respect for this. And I'll know now that I'm not doing it, how lucky other schools are to have, Saratoga having Matt Usher, Pugliese, April Parr, and I don't want from Bethlehem, and a bunch of new Mike Grasso, who now took over at Niski. We got Kusel's now over at Shaker. And I know I'm missing some guy. I know these guys are in the gym all the time. Do you guys know what a high school coach makes?
17 cents an hour.
10 cents an hour. I think it was 6 cents.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much what it comes down to, man. That's pretty much what it comes down to. It's like 75 like that, which I guess if somebody hands you $7,500, that's great. But when you're in the gym every single day and you're doing stuff that and you get letters from kids, and there's nothing better than that. But, high school coaching's hard. It is. It's hard work, and you better have a passion for it, and you better love doing it. It's not going to last long because it's a passion, sure, and people will say, "Oh, I love coaching," but it's work. You all know that as well as anybody.
Hey, Coach Dzikas, man, I think you're being really humble right now. I mean, the stuff that somebody can, judge you on to be like nitpicking stuff, like that guy might have missed the box out or something. But the way you guys pass the rock and the way you guys shoot it and the way you share it, it just, you don't see every coach doing that. You know what I mean? And you see where it comes from because like you said, you're in there in July, you're in there in August, you're there in September. You were there before the season started, getting those guys on a shooting gun and getting that work in. You know what I mean? So I think you might be selling yourself a little short. I don't think anybody can come in there and at any school and just do type of stuff that you do. I can name a handful of coaches that do well too, but I think it's far and few between. but that's just me. But we just love having you on our show. Your insight is incredible, and we just appreciate you just giving your time. Where a lot of people might have felt a little thinking, looking at a little something, and you gave us that time, man.
You guys have always been fantastic. Listen, you guys have your heart in the right place. You do it for the right reasons, and really, anytime you guys ask me, I've always felt really honored to do it, and it's a comfortable talk. It really is. Like, I don't feel like I'm doing an interview right now. I feel like we're having brainstorming stuff.
Yes.
And I've always appreciated you guys for that. And I know my players always like talking to you guys as well.
Great guys over there. Coach Fuller, you got anything last moments for Coach Dzikas? The soon-to-be Hall of Fame coach.
Absolutely. Like I said, it's always a play. It's always been a do, and like I said, I'm always impressed when a guy is really good at his craft and what he does, and then he takes time to be able to about what he does, to be able to open it up and share it with others. And like I said, you were one of the best in-game strategists that I saw as a coach. We knew that you were going to make a halftime adjustment, a quarter adjustment, to tell you the truth, but we knew it was going to be something. So we appreciated watching you on and off the court. And like Coach said, I echo those words, being gracious with your time. He's somebody who's at the top that's gracious and giving the accolades. I remember when I say this real quick, I remember when they was talking about Wayne Gretzky. And what they said was that he wasn't just, his name wasn't great because of on the ice. It was great because of how he was really off the ice. And that's what I would say to you. It's not just great about what you've done, accolades, but it's great of the gentleman you are off the court. And that's what I say to you. Hats off to you. And I appreciate you, and good luck to the rest of your endeavors. And I have no doubt about it, whatever you take on, you'll be genre in that endeavor.
Guys, thank you so much for the kind words. Really, I really appreciate it, and they do mean a lot to me. And like I said, I've spent the last week reflecting, and the word for me is just blessed. I've been very blessed to be able to do what I love doing. I my way and learn from mistakes that I've made, I think I think you guys do a tremendous. I do really appreciate it coming from two guys who I really respect the kind words you're throwing out.
No problem, Coach. No problem, Coach. And Coach, when you get that college job, you're looking for a video coordinator. Look me up.
Absolutely. Hey, as long as you guys can continue saying kind things about me, I'll have you around. Are you kidding me? I'll take you to Miami with me, Danzy. We'll have a good time down there.
I would love that. I tell you that. But we're here. We're gonna close this up right now. We're here right now with the future Hall of Fame coach Tony Dzikas of the Shenendehowa Plainsmen. A great career. He won't be gone for too long, we hope, and we'll definitely be seeing him around. And hopefully during the season, next season, when you're around, if you caught a game or two, maybe we can get your insights while you're at a Shen game, get you come at halftime to speak to us or something, and give your your insight on the game at the game. You know what I mean? So we'd love to have you in any capacity that you're available next year. We really love to have you there, Coach. And also, have Channel 13 reached out to you yet to be a scout?
No. I think I may be okay. I think Roger's got that covered. Jimite, Pisano, all those guys. They have more knowledge than I do. So hey, I'd love to. I'll stop by at halftime at a Shen game, and we'll talk it up.
Oh, no doubt. Thanks a lot, Coach Dzikas. Take care.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.